What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Amanda on the show, the co-host. Amanda, ready to make our picks?
Start to a week ever. Like you're four for four so far. I feel like you just copied all my picks for Thanksgiving and Black Friday. So
No, I'm 3 for 4. I picked the Bears.
you picked the Bears? Oh, see, I give you too
Yeah.
much credit.
I
Oh,
had to pick the
y'all,
Bears.
he's a glutton for punishment. I thought you had wised up. I thought you were like, no, the Bears need to lose so Flus can get fired. But
No, I said I'm already down, what, 16 games?
16.
What's 17? It'll be all right. But
Um,
now we got Sunday and Monday, so now I'm gonna take it seriously and I'm gonna gain some gains on you.
there's
Uh
so much football this week. They really like spread it out.
yeah, I
Did
love
anyone else forget there was a game today and then they were pleasantly surprised, like, oh shit, there's football.
it.
That Black Friday football, like that was a
Yeah,
nice little
and
surprise because I completely forgot.
it actually turned out to be a good game, surprisingly. So that was nice. No blowouts so far this week. So
No, no,
yeah,
everybody showed up and well, except the kicker for the Raiders.
yeah,
Everybody
the
else showed
kicker
up.
stuff. All right, let's get into the picks this for Sunday and Monday. We got the 7-4 Chargers at the 6-5 Falcons. Atlanta on a 2-game losing streak. J.K. Dobbins out with an MCL sprain. That's a big loss for the Chargers.
That really is. They've been
Yeah.
leaning heavily on that run game.
Yeah, they got what Gus Edwards and um Hassan Haskins.
Yeah, but
So
DK is definitely their number one.
yeah. And then we'll see if Quentin Johnston can bounce back after his 5 targets, 0 catches, 3 drops. He needs to play much better, and I think he will.
Yeah.
But Atlanta needs this one. I mean, Atlanta coming off a blowout loss to Denver. Both of these teams are good. How do you think this one goes?
Um, I'm really intrigued by Justin Herbert's issues in the second half of games. We've seen
Mhm.
Atlanta come back and pull off a win in the second half of games after not showing up in the first half, but Herbert is the opposite. So he's got the third best QBR in the first half, going over the entire season for games. But he's 29th in the second half of games. And it's not like they're the Detroit Lions and they've got a 38-point lead going into the second half. So it's interesting. I mean, they're averaging 8.4 points per game in the second half, which is 30th. Only 10 points in the second half Monday night when they lost to the Ravens. So I'm going to need to see a little bit more from the Chargers. And I like them. I like what Harbaugh is doing. I think he's a good fit there, but
Yeah.
can't play half a game and expect to win. I had the issues with the Packers doing that for the first half of the season. Um, and then looking at the other side of the ball, up until week nine, Kirk Cousins had never had, or up through week nine, Kirk Cousins had never had two consecutive games without a touchdown pass since becoming an NFL starter. Weeks 10 and 11, nothing. Um,
Wow.
so I don't think this defense is going to be a good bounce back game. I think the Chargers defense is going to be real rough on him here. So I wouldn't be surprised if he had another week without a touchdown pass, which is why I would take the Chargers here. I just don't. I think the Falcons need a nice, easy win to get kind of their momentum going again, and I don't think this is
Yeah.
going to be.
Yeah, it's a tough game. It's a tough way to get off of that losing streak, and
Mhm.
you could easily see them getting on a 3-game losing streak. And we have John on weekly, who covers the Falcons and former player with them, and he was concerned after how they kind of no-showed against Denver and got their ass kicked.
Yeah.
And now it's a losing streak, and if you get on a 3-game losing streak with the Bucks right behind you, things could turn badly for Atlanta quickly. So there is a sense of urgency. That's something that makes me think about this game. Like the Falcons need it. They're going to have a
Yeah.
big sense of urgency, but so do the Chargers. I expect Quentin Johnson to bounce back. Um, I just think the Chargers are the better team,
Hmm.
and I trust them more. And even to go into Atlanta, I think it'll be a hard fought, close game, probably come down to the wire. But I think the Chargers will find a way.
I
But
disagree with you there. I don't think that the Falcons defense is scrappy enough to make this game close. They
really,
only have 10 sacks this season. It's their fewest through 11 games in history, the fewest by any NFL team. through 11 games since 2018. Like, so
Well,
there's just not a lot of life on that team right now. Like, I'm not, and Herbert's not an easy guy to tackle. Like,
yeah,
he's not an easy guy to bring down. I can see him getting enough time to get some big, beautiful passes off.
but who's he throwing to, right? He's got Lad McConkey, Josh Palmer, Quentin
I like
Johnson
both of them. I
better.
like McConkey.
They're not bad, but are they gonna put up with J.K. Dobbins out? How many points are they gonna put up? If they keep it, I could see this being like a 20-17 type of game.
But you don't think
And
Harbaugh, who you love as a head coach, has a great second and third string backup situation ready to go, ready to step in?
yeah, they'll figure it out probably. I think even if it's a close, hard fought game, I think the Chargers will find a way. We agree on that. I see a scenario where Atlanta could steal it, but like the
Will
Chargers are the
Dissly
better
is who
team.
you forgot. Will Dissly had 47 yards against the Ravens last week.
Yeah. I mean, Hugh is right when he talks about the Chargers don't have a ton of talent,
But
receiving,
they have, I would say
but they
that they
make it work.
have talent, but no big names.
Yeah. And Lad McConkey is going to be for real.
Hmm.
Like he's
Agreed.
already proven himself. They just can't afford to have an off night from Quentin Johnston. And when
Yeah.
you have that type of game against the Ravens, you're going to lose. And so
You
I
don't
think
think
they
that
can
man is coming
afford.
into this game ready for a bounce back? He had to go home and have Thanksgiving with his family, and they're like, tell us about what
Yeah.
those three drops, sir. Like, you know, his family was elbowing him at the dinner table, like, let's make sure we put the turkey on the table so he doesn't drop it. Like, no, he's ready for a bounce back game.
He better. I
His
like him.
family
I
was
root
talking
for
mad
him.
shit about that.
Yeah. So let's go. We're both taking the Chargers in Atlanta,
Yep.
trusting the Harbaugh led Bolts. Let's go Steelers at Bengals. How are you seeing this one, Amanda? This is an interesting matchup. Cincy on a 2-game losing streak, but they had their bye week, and the Steelers coming off a bad loss in Cleveland.
Yeah, I feel like snow games are a weird situation. Like it
Yeah,
was a rough loss. Cleveland played better, but you couldn't see anything in that game. Even viewers at home, like I lost the ball a
yeah,
few times. Like
yeah.
they were out shoveling the line so you could see them throughout the game. Like so that's one of those games that like I won't hold that against you. If you lose a game, at least the weather was going like you that can be excused, I think. Um, but I am concerned about the Steelers offense in the red zone. They're 30th in scoring percentage. And while I would be concerned about that, normally the Bengals red zone defense is 31st. They
Wow.
allow opponents to score touchdowns on 71% of trips to the red zone. So it kind of balances out here. And I mean, before those two fourth quarter touchdowns against the Browns, Pittsburgh had gone 7 quarters without a touchdown, which I was concerned about. And I really like how this matches up. I think Bengals are the more desperate team. Uh,
Yep.
Joe Burrow's career best season, looking great for him. But that Steelers pass defense is so good. So I gotta roll with them.
Well, Alex Highsmith, one of their better pass rushers, is out. That's one thing to keep an eye on. Also, Logan Wilson is questionable for the Bengals, and DT Sheldon Rankins is out for the Bengals.
Burrow has had 3 games back to back where he's looked really good. 3 or more passing touchdowns, the longest streak of his career. But the way this defense matches up against them, we've got, let me figure out where they're at. Pittsburgh leading the league in opposing QBR because of their zone defense. And with the look that I won't get too detailed here, but the setups they normally use for the Bengals, I just see that defense kind of picking them apart here, and that nice little streak he's had going coming apart.
Okay, so you got Steelers in Cincy.
I do. I
It,
feel like desperation is gonna. I don't like desperate Joe Burrow. We've seen him
yeah.
desperate, and it doesn't pay off. He makes big
Well,
mistakes when he's anxious like that. And
and
Pickens needs a good game. I think this is going to be a great for him with how their red zone defense behaves. So I like Pittsburgh here. And you
I
talked me into
mean,
liking Pittsburgh this season, so I'm surprised you're not taking them if you're not.
well, it's a tough matchup, and you talked about Steelers Browns, and we've said we keep saying this about division rivalry games. You never know.
Mhm.
And Joe Burrow does surprisingly. I looked this up. He's 3-2 in his career against the Steelers through 5 games, so he's got a winning record. Now, does that continue, or does he become 500 now and then go under 500 or whatever? So it's a big game. The records say the Steelers are the much better team, but I think the Bengals are better than their record. They're desperate because they're a very talented team that believes they're a playoff team and they can't lose any more games. They're right on the cusp. Um,
You don't help
so
them not lose games.
this
Their
this
defense
is
not allowing 100 plus rushing yards in every single game this season.
yeah, yeah. Their defense has been a problem all season
Mhm.
long, and so
That's my issue here is I think their weaknesses don't match up well to the strength of the Steelers. I mean, their run game is solid. I mean, Justin Fields went in last week and rushed for 26 yards. Like,
yeah,
but I mean, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, they're you
yeah.
can't let up 100 yards every week and then face a good running back duo like that. I don't see it ending well.
I could see it going different ways. The Steelers' offense does isn't like high scoring, so I don't see them putting up 30 plus. And the Bengals have the ability to score, and the Steelers' defense is better. So I think it's going to be hard fought. I think it's going to
Mhm.
come down to the wire, and we'll
Yeah,
see
I think it's
who
going
is
to be
cut.
close.
Yeah.
I could almost
Um,
argue myself into taking the Bengals here if their defense wasn't so bad against the run.
a lot of times, what I do too is I look at the records and I say, who is this team and what should they be?
Hmm.
And 5-7 fits the Bengals, and 8-4 fits the Steelers. That's kind of like, a simple way of looking at it. So I'm gonna go Bengals at home. Joe Burrow with the winning record against Pittsburgh, which surprised me. So, in Joey B, I trust, I guess.
I mean, you're already down on the week. May as well just roll with it.
No,
No,
I'm
I'm
coming
kidding.
back.
No,
That's what I'm trying to tell
I could
you.
argue either way. Like I could
Yeah.
probably talk myself into picking the Bengals, but just
Well, you know me. I like the Steelers. I've been talking high about the Steelers
yeah.
all season long. So,
Yeah, I'm just getting on the Steelers bandwagon, so
yeah.
no judgment on this pick at all. I just the defense situation, the red zone defense, that's just a huge red flag for me.
Yeah. Yeah. If Najee goes off, Najee Harris or Jalen Warren, that'll make it that much more difficult. So the Bengals better show up. Hopefully, linebacker Logan Wilson plays.
Mhm.
But yeah, I got Bengals. You got Steelers. Let's go 6-5 Cardinals at the 9-2 Vikings. Minnesota on a 4-game winning streak, but haven't exactly looked super dominant doing so. And then the Cardinals have had their moments where they've looked pretty damn good. Hugh's been on the Cardinals all season long. They struggled last week against Seattle, though. How are you seeing this one?
I mean, I picked them to beat Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting on board with them and they had a rough week.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if that is who they really are and they kind of lucked into a couple games or if they're going to get back to where they've been
Yeah.
previously this season because I'm not entirely sure who they are. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
their
know.
record is good. They're still doing well, but I don't know. So this situation, I mean, you wrote in your notes that the Cardinals haven't won in Minnesota since 77, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Arizona's defense has been great, holding opposing teams under 20 points 3 straight games. Um, I I love how much Kyler Murray has developed and grown this season. He seems to read defenses a lot better. That was one of my issues with him last season. Um, he
Mhm.
just he just went for it all the time. He didn't seem to like take his time and really like analyze what he was seeing. So I would love to see him kind of show that reading the defense because Minnesota's got a great defense and I think they're going to go after him. But I
Yeah.
want to see how his football intellect has improved to this point. Like, show me that you can handle this defense, and I am fully on board the Kyler Murray train, you know?
Yeah.
And this would be a rough loss for them with the way the NFC West is standing right now. So I think the Cardinals need this. A win keeps them towards the top of the division. A loss, I mean, that division is pretty cozy with each other right now. And then the Vikings, I don't know. Like their record is good,
Yeah.
uh, but they just they seem to have so many issues. Like
I
we've seen
agree.
Minnesota players fighting each other on the sidelines. Like we have their defense, who is fantastic, who needs to contain Murray, right? Fourth in the NFL in rushing yards by a quarterback. But the Vikings defense allowed 33 rushing yards to Caleb Williams, who I don't think is as good of a rushing quarterback. So I'm concerned about Kyler finding a hole and kind of running away with this. So I don't know,
Yeah.
kind of back and forth here. I'm going to roll with Minnesota because I trust them a little bit more. But Sam Darnold, our little turnover machine here, 14 on the
Mhm.
season, tied for first. Uh,
Yeah.
and
That's
this
an issue.
Arizona defense might take advantage of that. So I'm gonna roll with the Vikings, but I would not be shocked if Darnold had a rough game and threw this game away for them.
Yeah. I'm not super confident in this game. I'm not a believer in the Vikings. Their record is great,
Hmm.
and I think it's going to stay pretty good. I think they'll make the playoffs at like 13-4 or something like that, or 12-5.
They're gonna be the
But
worst 13 win team. Like
exactly, like
they
they get
win. I
beat
don't
right
trust
away.
them, you
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
I think that's
So
a first round loss in the playoffs if they keep
yeah.
playing like this, because I haven't seen them address issues. I see them squeak by and pull out a win or beat a bad team, but I don't see them look good, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And I'm
Yeah.
not talking shit about them. I want good things for them, but I just don't think Darnold is going to be the guy. And I know right now they've made some moves with the quarterback situation.
who
But I just JJ
who would you trust?
McCarthy needs to freeze time for 2 years and then come in as a starter, having learned from a good veteran quarterback. That's we just need to skip 3 years into the future for the Vikings, and I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, give him a year behind Aaron Rodgers and he'll be fine. Now, who do
Sorry,
you
guys.
trust?
Listen, I don't think you understand how upset I am that the Vikings moved up in the draft as I predicted that I said they should. They moved up in the
Yeah,
draft, got the quarterback I wanted for them, and then got rid of the quarterback I wanted to teach him. Like I
yeah.
wanted Kirk Cousins to mentor JJ McCarthy so badly. And then they did 90% of what I wanted, and they're like, nah, fuck that guy. Like he can learn from Sam Darnold.
You don't trust him to learn from Sam Darnold?
I trust
Or,
him to
all
learn, but I don't know what Sam Darnold can teach him.
right, what about Daniel Jones? Does that make it any better?
You anyone who listens to this podcast knows how I feel about Daniel Jones. He has the best PR team. Mad shout out to whoever is making him look this good to the NFL. Like amazing job. Like mwah, chef's kiss. Like you were killing it.
Well, and he saw what the Vikings did with Josh Dobbs last year, and
Yeah,
he was
dude.
like, I want to go there.
The Daniel Jones
Um,
Ponzi scheme in the NFL needs to be studied. I am impressed. I can't wait for the 30 for 30 on Daniel Jones faking being an NFL starting quarterback.
tripping over his own feet in the middle of the field.
Cannot.
Yeah, I got the Vikings in this one, but yeah, I don't believe in either of these two teams. The Cardinals could win, it wouldn't surprise me. The Vikings could win, it wouldn't surprise me. The
If one of
Vikings are
these
at
teams puts
home.
up 40 points and holds the other team under 20, I will start believing in them. That is my but if this is just
Yeah,
a back and forth shootout or just like a low scoring, like basically a tie, like I will not change my opinion on either of these teams unless one of these teams significantly beats the other.
yeah, and I don't think that's going to happen. I see like a 23-20 type of score, and the
You got some
Vikings at
PTSD
home.
from that Chicago Bears game there, bud.
Yeah, exactly. And the Cardinals haven't won in Minnesota since the 70s. So let me give it, take the Vikings. History has a way of repeating itself. So Vikings for the win, but neither of us are confident in that one. How about 5-7 Colts at the 3-9 Patriots? It's expected to be cold in Foxborough. So that doesn't bode well for the domed Indianapolis Colts.
Maybe
But
they practice outside though. Indy gets cold.
I don't trust dome teams outside in
That's fair. Like,
December.
so we
You
we
know,
talked about this on the last episode, how like the Dolphins haven't figured out how to get conditioned for cold weather. Like it's
yeah,
one thing to be a dome team in a cold area. Like go to a high school football field and play like practice in the snow. Like the Lions, they're fine out in cold weather. Like they can
they
have the
are now. They didn't used to be, but they are now. They're built for it now because
yeah,
that
but
O
like
line running game.
but I just there's there's ways to experience that in Indianapolis, so I trust them a bit more. But these like domed southern states, I'm like, I don't like. Do they have like
Yeah.
fake snow? Like go to like a ski resort and practice in the fake snow? Like how do you?
Well, in my opinion, so if you want to be a team like in Miami or in LA and know how to translate into playing in the snow, playing in the cold, you need a beast O line and you need a running back like Derrick Henry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but not to talk too much shit because we have seen cold weather teams like Green Bay historically sucks in Florida.
No, yeah, it can work the opposite way
Green
as
Bay in a
well.
90-degree game, like it's not
But
usually a good thing.
you don't
So,
want to go to Miami in September.
mm-mm.
And the same way you don't want to go to Green Bay in December and January. So yeah, 100%. But with Anthony Richardson, who I like and I'm rooting for, but his completion percentage, his struggles throwing the ball, I feel like the cold weather and the Patriots defense can put a clamp on that. And Drake May and that offense do just enough. I think it's going to be low scoring. Give me the Patriots like 16-13 for the win over the Colts in New England.
Yeah, I'm a little confused about what's going on with the Colts because Richardson's had some issues with completions, but then you
Hmm.
expect them to lean more heavily on their running game. But Jonathan Taylor has also dropped off.
Yeah.
Like his production, like you look back early in the season, he had 4 straight weeks of 100-yard rushing performances. And
Hmm.
then, or I guess 4 out of 6 weeks that they weren't consecutive. But the last
Yeah.
2 games, 46 yards average. Like, why aren't we using him more? When your quarterback is struggling, lean on the run game. We've seen it be effective for so many teams, but they're not doing that.
Yeah.
And I know that the O line is having some issues with injuries and stuff, but they haven't been able to find a way to address that. Jim Bob Cooter, who has one of my favorite names in football, he said, running the football, it's a team or an offensive unit sort of thing. It's all 11 of us. Like we need everybody out there, and they just haven't been able to next man up the O line, which really sucks for them because I expected Jonathan Taylor to be able to step up when Richardson needed him to.
Yeah. Yeah. Um it's interesting, and New England's not a bad defense. They're going to make it difficult for them, run and pass. And the Colts are going to be without wide receiver Josh Downs as well. So I just think the Colts need this win, but I don't think this team is a playoff team. I don't think they're good enough, and I think the Patriots find a way. I mean, the Patriots are a bad team, but I think they get the win at home. I mean, it just doesn't bode well for the Colts, I don't think. I think Anthony Richardson struggles and turns the ball over a couple times, and Drake May probably outperforms him because Drake May can run the ball, and you know,
He can also throw some picks. He's on a 4 straight game interception streak.
it'll probably this game's probably going to be sloppy and
Yeah,
ugly and
I expect
turnover
this to be
city.
sloppy. I mean, look at their penalties from last week. The
Yeah.
Patriots 13 penalties last week, Indianapolis 12 times. I expect it to be fun garbage. So
This this is gonna be on the small in the background TV.
yeah, but it's gonna be one of those fun garbage games. Like it's gonna be scrappy, but like sad.
And we love garbage, so it's
Yes. Give
we
me
can't
six
wait.
fumbles in a game, please.
So you're taking who are you taking?
The Pats. I'm sticking
Okay.
with the Pats here. I can't pick against them. I don't trust the Colts here. I know Pittman Jr. had a solid game last week against the Lions, his best game of the season. And the Patriots like to give up yards to receivers, but I think that's the one high point of that offense. Like their quarterback isn't completing passes, their running game isn't going, their O line is injured. I can't pick them.
Yeah, and they played against a depleted Lions defense last week and could only muster 6 points. And Anthony Richardson was like 40% completion. Like, no, thank you. So I'm mad
Exactly.
at him for that. I picked them last week. That's what I get for picking the Colts. So now
Yep,
they're
pick
in my
against
shit
the
list.
Lions.
6-5 Seahawks at the 3-8 Jets. Jets fired their GM Joe Douglas. They during the bye week they've already fired their head coach. Their starting tackle Tyron Smith is out. The
Aaron Rodgers
Seahawks,
says he wants to come back next year, but probably not play for the Jets. They're a mess.
yeah, they're a mess, and the Seahawks are leading the NFC West. They've got something to play for. They played well last week. The defense held the Cardinals to just 6 points. The Jets have been struggling on offense. Give me the Seahawks in New York, and I think the Jets are going to struggle to score 10 points.
I want to agree with you. And I have picked Seattle, but Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers post bye week, healthy, rested, old man got to take lots of naps in the off week. Um, I think Rodgers now wants to impress people who might be shopping for a quarterback. So I think Rodgers might try to put on a show here. And Seattle and Aaron Rodgers have a history. I don't know if y'all remember, there's been a lot of trauma and referees and comebacks at the end of NFC championship games. But I do think Aaron Rodgers has Seattle's number at this point. I think this could be an upset. I cannot pick the Jets. I was over
No,
them.
you have to pick them now. You can't say
No, I
all
do
that
not.
and
Let
not
me
pick
explain. I am not done
the
yet. Shh. Um, Aaron Rodgers is 139 consecutive passes without an interception. They're not scoring points with those passes.
Yeah.
Them are good or long, but still he's getting back into his interception free streaks. Um, but then again, I am so over the Jets. Every time I've picked them this season, they have just had a shit game.
Yeah.
And I speaking of storylines and stuff going on behind the scenes, Geno Smith returning to MetLife, facing the team that drafted him. And he's been solid in Seattle. Like this has been a solid season for him. He's second in passing yards, but his
Yeah.
interceptions he leads the league, 12 interceptions. So if the Jets defense shows up the way we saw them last year, then I
Hmm.
think this game the Jets could stand a chance in it. But I just don't trust this Jets team. I just yeah, no. I don't like their
Well, you,
quarterbacks and how they've been playing.
yeah.
Sauce Gardner has been slacking off. Like DJ Reed has been solid, but I'm just not getting what I want out of this Jets defense.
No, 100%. I mean, you know me. I picked the Jets to go to the Super Bowl this year in the preseason, and I picked them a lot. I've been saying like they're gonna get a big win here, and then they're gonna get on a roll. And this team just can't do it. And now they fired the head coach. They're firing the GM. It's dysfunctional at the top, and it's leaking onto the field. And you're seeing the dysfunction on the field. There's no way I can pick the Jets here.
Mhm.
And you brought up Aaron Rodgers going against Seattle and Geno going against New York. I think Geno going against New York is the bigger thing here, and
Yeah.
I think this is the first time he's back in New York.
Yeah.
So I think I don't think he's worried about the interceptions. I think he's going to go in there and just wing it and hope for the best and throw for either. I think he's going to throw for 3 touchdowns regardless. There might be a couple picks sprinkled in there, but I think he's going to have a good game.
How concerned are you about the Seattle O-line? Last week was his third five-sack game this season.
It's concerning, but I think, hopefully run the ball, like so if you throw the ball every down, then the Jets are just going to pin their ears and come after the quarterback. So stay balanced, get Charbonnet, get Kenneth Walker going, get the ball out quick, don't take bad sacks. But even if the Seahawks struggle on offense and it's a lower scoring game, I still like the Seahawks to put enough points on the board more than the Jets. That Jets offense has just been
They
Aaron
have
Rodgers
not
is
clicked at all. And I love
talented,
Garrett
but
Wilson. There is
yeah,
talent and big names on that team, and they're just not doing anything with it, which is
yeah.
so
And
confusing.
Brees Hall, I think, is questionable. I think he's going to play, but he's a little banged up. So we agree. So we're both going Seahawks. We both like the Jets and want them to
I
do well,
know.
but just too
It would be so
dysfunctional.
fun if they had like a mid-season renaissance and like started rolling, but that just did not happen. Just more
Yeah.
dysfunction and drama and
Typical New York
jealousy.
sports teams.
That's true.
Yeah. How are you feeling about the Titans at the Commanders? Washington coming in on a 3-game losing streak.
I am so confused about what happened. I was
Yeah.
riding high on them, and I've had hope last week. I mean, the Cowboys, how are you going to lose on an extra point to the
That that's so heartbreaking, and
Oh.
that's one of those losses that can snowball into two or three.
And honestly, like both of these teams had crazy upset like games. Like
Yeah,
Tennessee should not have beat the Texans. Like what the fuck was that?
but they're feeling great. They
Yeah,
don't
they're
care
riding
if they
high
got
right now, and
lucky.
the Commanders
Yeah,
are just pissed and
yeah,
brokenhearted and cried over their
yeah,
turkey yesterday. So yeah, and then we have some big players questionable and doubtful for this game too.
yeah.
Austin Eckler is out, Marshawn Lattimore is doubtful. This I did not make a pick for this game because I have no idea what to do here because the Commanders offense, if I mean they've been off the past 3 weeks. If they pop back to where they're supposed to be, like I would say their offense was back against Dallas. They
Well,
did not win,
in the second
but
half, they got it going, and Dallas's defense, they got Micah Parsons back. They've got
yeah,
some playmakers. So
I think
but,
I gotta take them. I am just not a Will Levis fan.
yeah, you
He's
some
had a good
turnovers.
couple of weeks, but
Yep.
I don't trust him to continue it. I mean, the Commanders had bounced back last week. Yes, they lost, but that, like you mentioned, Dallas's defense really showed up in that game.
hmm
So
Well, and it was a little fluky too, right? Like
yeah,
they had to really get unlucky to lose that.
yeah, and I've seen them luck into some wins and I've seen them luck into some losses, and
hmm
I don't trust Tennessee as far as I can throw them. Um,
Me neither.
the annual NFL Thanksgiving dinner meme and the everyone was sitting around the table with all their funny little things, and there's Will Levis memes on the wall in the background. Those beautiful, hilarious. Um, I just that Titans defense, I don't think is good enough to hold back the Jaden Daniels revenge game. I think he's pissed. He wants to win. He's shown that he's too good to get beat by a bad defense. So I don't know how you pick against the Commanders here.
Yeah, even if it's sloppy, I think they'll do enough to get the win. Yeah, I don't trust Will Levis. I trust Cooper Rush more than I trust Will Levis, if that says anything. So
I agree with
I
you.
I don't see the Commanders going on a four-game losing streak. I'm surprised. I picked them to beat the Cowboys last week. I don't think that the wheels have just come off. So I think they'll get it together
They just
against
got stuck in
Tennessee.
the mud.
Yeah. I honestly I could see this being hard fought. I could see them struggling a little bit with the Titans, but just doing enough to win by single digits and get the win. Unless Will Levis goes full turnover machine, then maybe they could blow him out.
Wouldn't hate
Um,
that. We haven't had a good Will Levis meme in the past couple weeks.
yeah, let's have a nice Jared Goff 5 interception game.
Yes. Do it.
Texans at Jags, Jacksonville on a 4-game losing streak, but they had the bye week to get things figured out. And now here comes Trevor Lawrence back after missing 2 games with a shoulder injury. He's expected to play and start. Does that give the Jags any chance here against the Texans? Hey,
Do we need to talk about this one? No. I
the,
no.
the Texans just lost to the Titans.
Yeah, that was a weird game. I no. Mm-mm. They're embarrassed by that. I mean, the
Yeah,
Texans
they'll
have
be
won 11
pissed.
out of their past 13 games against the Jags. I mean, they've
Yeah.
already played this season in week 4. CJ Stroud knows what to do against this defense. His numbers against this team, so over his six or his, sorry, 3 career games, he's got 6 touchdowns, no interceptions, almost 1,000 yards. Like
Uh,
he loves playing the Jags. Yeah, no.
yeah, I got the Texans as well. The Jags aren't playing for anything. I mean, the Jags would be better off to lose and get a higher draft pick, and the Texans need a win. So I
Yeah,
agree
and
with
Will
you.
Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter are just playing so well. They're going to be going
Yeah,
after Trevor Lawrence here. I mean, they had 5 sacks last week between the two of them. Like,
yeah,
this is going to
it's
be
gonna
rough
be
for the
bad.
Jags.
Yep. Um, Let's go Rams at Saints. Saints come in on a 2-game winning streak. The interim head coach Darren Rizzi takes over, and he's undefeated at 2-0. Got the Saints back to 4-7. But here come the Rams at 5-6. The Rams still in the thick of things, in the NFC West.
God, it
I
must be nice
think,
to be in a shitty division this year.
yeah, as opposed to the NFC North where you can be 9-3 in third place.
Bullshit.
uh, yeah, I don't think the Saints are suddenly a good team. I don't think they're going. I mean, they could go on a 3-game winning streak. I'm still not going to think they're a good team. I think the Rams find a way to get this win. They need it more. Yeah, give me the Rams in New Orleans. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving what Jared Verse has done this season. I mean, he's leading the rookie class with 51 pressures. I mean, he's been so good on the right edge. Which in this game matches him up with cannot say his name to save my life.
Braden Fisk? Or no,
No,
you're talking about the
Fuaga.
tackle?
Fuaga.
Tali Fuaga, yeah.
Yeah. Um, sorry for slaughtering your name. Just too many vowels there. Um, so I just love that matchup. I think he's been so good. He was one of my favorites in the draft. And I mean, lowest pressure rate allowed by any rookie this season. So I think it'll be fantastic there. And then the Saints are getting healthier. After their bye, like they've got a lot of players coming back. We had an Achilles tear issue early in the season that we're popping back from. Eric McCoy, their center, left the last game with a groin injury. He's still questionable. They said Darren Rizzi said that he's day to day. So I have yet to see them announce if he's playing or not. But I just think there's so many other issues. Like you don't have a healthy center, like you're already going to have
Yeah.
issues there. And I don't trust that offense to be able to mask some of those issues like that. And the combination of Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, I think are just going to be too good for that Saints defense to handle. So I don't know how you can pick against the Rams here.
Yeah, and the Saints have kind of struggled with the run D, so here comes Kyron Williams. He should have a big game. And I love the Rams' young defenders, Braden Fisk, Jared Verse, Cameron
Mhm.
Kitchens. Those guys are balling out. So,
Yeah, and you can
yeah,
tell the team is young because they're very talented and individual numbers are good, but their record is still not fantastic.
yeah.
But I do expect a busy day for Alvin Kamara on the Saints. They haven't been completing enough passes, and we've seen them rely heavily on their run game. And I like the Rams defense against the run, so I think the Rams are going to pull this one off.
Hey, if the Saints need more completions, just throw it Marquez Valdez-Scantling's way, right?
Well, actually, he'd start making completions now that they're pretty much out of the playoff picture. So that's
Now he's
that's
dropping balls again.
that's accurate for him. If they were making a postseason run, he would drop some big ones. Don't worry.
Okay. He only balls out when the team sucks.
Ugh, he makes me crazy. Or when it's for the Chiefs that one time in the Super Bowl.
We need to get you a Valdez Scantling jersey. Just
We need to get him on the podcast so I can just chat with him. Just make a
that would be
compilation of me
like
talking shit about him over the years and just play it
we'll
for
do that, and we'll get Cody Parkey on for me.
perfect.
uh,
Next year when Daniel Jones is out of the league, I would like to interview him.
you mean the starting quarterback for
The starting quarterback for the Bears.
the? Hey, we have had
Oh, you
enough
thought
bad
about it too. You're like,
quarterbacks.
actually, no. All right, we're going to talk about the 5 and 6 Bucks at the 3-8 Panthers before Alex goes off on some weird Daniel Jones and a Chicago Bears jersey tangent. Um, Tampa Bay looked so good in that blowout win over the Giants. I mean, with Mike Evans back, like
Yeah,
that's Tampa Bay I want to see. I mean, 30-7, that was beautiful. Um, but Carolina put up a hell of a fight against the Chiefs. And
hmm
I had told you guys that I could talk myself into picking the Panthers if it wasn't the fucking Chiefs and they didn't always find some black magic way to win a game. Um,
yeah,
they put up, I mean, a great fight, but there's so many injuries in this game. For the Panthers, I mean, they're missing some big names. Jalen Coker's out, Sanders is out. Who else is injured?
yeah.
Um, They had a couple other
They-
ones, but I
yeah.
just I think the Panthers used all their magic last week and it didn't pay off, and I think that's going to be it for them for a couple weeks. I think the Bucks are going to roll over them.
Yeah, the Panthers have been playing better football of late. They were on a 2-game winning streak, I think, going into that Chiefs game, and they played the Chiefs well also, so they're playing better football, but not enough, I don't think, to beat the Bucks. It is a division rivalry game. You never know, but Tampa Bay it has won a couple games here, and now finds themselves just one game back in the NFC South with the Falcons struggling, and they see the Falcons potentially losing on Sunday as well. So if they win, then the records will be tied. So it's a big opportunity for Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield has been great. You know, he he's the leader of that team, and the team follows him. Like, he's been great for Tampa Bay. So in
Oh,
Baker, I trust.
Clowney being questionable was the other person who I was thinking who was on their
Okay.
injury report. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you look at this Carolina run defense, they're allowing the league worst 160 yards rushing per game. And we know
Hmm.
Tampa Bay has been known to lean heavily on their run game.
Yeah.
Kansas City didn't seem to do much on the ground last week, which I think was a bit of a mistake, but I mean, they still
Yeah.
pulled off. So it doesn't matter at this point. But yeah, Tampa Bay is gonna pull this one off. And last
Yeah.
week, I mean, four players scoring a rushing touchdown for the first time in franchise history for the Bucks. So I think they clicked really well, and they're rolling on some nice happy juju. So I'm
Yeah.
ready for another good Bucks game. You know how much I love that Bucks team.
Yeah, I could see the Panthers winning it just because they've been playing better football, but I don't think Baker's going to let it happen. Having Mike Evans back is huge, right? Like, he's just going to throw it up to Mike Evans. We've seen him when he's mic'd up. He's like, I just throw it up to Mike. Like, he one on
Mike's
one,
got
he's like
me.
wide ass open, right?
Yeah. He'll get open. It's fine.
Yeah. This is the game of the week, though. How about the 9-2 Eagles at the 8-4 Ravens? Philly comes in on a 7-game winning streak. The Ravens coming off a statement win over the Chargers in LA. Two of the best running backs in the NFL, Saquon Barkley against Derrick Henry. This is must-watch football. I can't wait. This is like a Super Bowl preview type matchup.
I love the number one and number two. Their
Yeah.
relationship, oh, it's so cute. Like he the way they call each other out and having these big record-breaking games on social media. He's like, yeah,
Yeah.
boy, go eat. Like I love them. I love the mutual support. I didn't, I don't, I want them both to win. I don't want to pick a team here. And normally I'm very opinionated and I just can't, I'm too objective in this game. Um,
Mhm.
We've got Darius Slay out. Devontae Smith is questionable. Roquan Smith is supposed to play, but Kyle Van Noy is out. Like, I want to see both these teams at full strength just go into this fully on a tear. Saquon Barkley, insane. Career best performance, single game career highs in rushing, yards from
That's
scrimmage. Like, that game
so
against the Rams was
crazy.
fucking insane.
Yeah.
So he scooched, I think, 60 yards up ahead of Derrick Henry, who was in first. Like, and
Yeah.
it's so funny if you look at the running back ratings, like Green Bay's Josh Jacobs is number three. He is 500 yards behind these other two. Like, the gap is so big.
So
Like, these
crazy.
two, like Josh Jacobs doesn't even compete with them, and he's really fucking good. That's just crazy how good they are this season.
No,
And
it is. The craziest thing is, like, they're having career years. It's not just they're having great years, they're having career years. Like, Derrick Henry might have a career season, and we know the numbers he's put up. And
ridiculous.
Saquon's rookie year was like they were comparing him to Barry Sanders, and he might break his rookie year numbers. Like, they're on pace to. It's ridiculous.
It's so good. I am so glad that this running back renaissance has
Me
happened.
too.
I was so high on running backs last year, and it seems like everybody's catching on, and the game
Uh,
plans have been adjusted to allow room for them to show
and
off their talents. And
And
it's
we never
so
changed. The whole time when everyone was saying don't pay running backs, we were like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Running backs are so valuable.
yeah, I love this matchup. I don't even want to pick here, but Lamar Jackson is 23-1 against NFC opponents. He has their number.
At
Um,
home.
they're at home. I mean, he's I guess the biggest issue is the Eagles on their 7 straight game win streak. Uh,
Yeah.
Philadelphia's defense has been fantastic at holding
Yeah.
quarterbacks to low passing yards, but I think I'm just gonna pick the home team here because I don't know. I almost
Yeah.
want to pick the Eagles because I love what Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean have been doing.
Yeah.
Uh,
They've been great. Those rookies are
are you taking the
awesome.
Ravens?
I'm taking the
All
Ravens
right, I'll take the
because
Eagles. I'll take the
all
Eagles here
right.
because I'm on the fence. I'm like I 50-50, so I'll just take the other one.
Yeah.
I think Zay Flowers and Cooper DeJean would be such a fun matchup. So
Hmm.
I'm hoping that's who they have on him. But I, I'll take the
You
Eagles. I want them both to win. I'll be happy either way, honestly. I think it's going to be a fantastic game, and I'm so excited to see this matchup.
and the Eagles are undefeated when AJ Brown plays this year, so he's playing again. So we'll
Yeah,
see
I'm
if
not
that.
mad about my pick either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what
It's
it is.
gonna be great.
Take
Can't wait.
it.
That's just a game where it's fun as not being a fan of either team to
Mhm.
just sit back
Beautiful,
and
talented
enjoy
football.
great football.
This is
Yeah,
just the fucking Pro Bowl, guys. Enjoy.
yeah. And it's cool because you get this at the 4 o'clock, or and then we get a great game on Sunday night. The 5-6 49ers at the 9-2 Bills, a desperate Niners team coming into Buffalo, who's on a 6-game winning streak. Uh, Brock Purdy expected to return after missing last week. Um, but
Shout out
but
to
the
him for
bad,
taking a week off for the Packers to start
yeah.
their
What kind of shit is that? Why are you gonna take
season.
off against the
We
Packers?
needed a win so bad. And the 49ers are Achilles, man. The 49ers take Green Bay out of the playoffs. So many, like, it was finally the good karma that was owed us. Okay. That's
But I mean, they are injury hit. They're going to be without Trent Williams and Nick Bosa again. The Bills are going to again be without Dalton Kincaid. Questionable is Keon Coleman, but I think he is going to play. They're expecting him to be able to play. And you could get your wish here. This could be a snow game Sunday night in Buffalo. We're hoping. Yeah.
I love a snow game. Green Bay had some flurries and I was real mad about it.
Some Floridies.
So lame. But I think I think it's hard to take the 49ers here. Like Purdy
Yeah.
is back, but the everyone talks about how he over the past few years, there's been a lot of conversation like, oh, he's a system quarterback. You could plug anybody in there and they'd have success. Um,
Not Brandon Allen.
until we proved him wrong. That's my point though, is I think Brock Purdy is beneficial to the team, but I do think some of these other injuries, I mean,
Yeah.
they're missing people like they're missing guards, they're missing defensive tackles, offensive tackles, linebackers, cornerbacks. Like they're not missing a receiver. I feel like it's easier to replace a receiver or shift the game away from a running back
Well,
than
Ayuk
it
is
is
out
to
for the
replace.
season, I think.
Yeah, but I've just they've had to deal with so many injuries so far. I don't know
Yeah.
if I can keep covering. And the Bills are my
You just love the Bills.
I
Let's just
do.
say that.
I think they're the best team in the AFC.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say
Yeah.
they're my top AFC team. I was just double checking to make sure that was still true. But yeah, fuck the Chiefs. Um, and the Ravens, I don't think, yeah, no, they're number 2 for me. And I know Kansas City has an 11-1 record, and people will come for me for saying that, but squeaking by
Well, they
wins,
beat them. They beat them head to head.
yeah, no, I just meant the Chiefs and the Ravens. Yeah, the Bills are leagues ahead of the Chiefs on a good day.
Yeah.
And I love the Josh Allen going and playing the team that he grew up rooting for. I think it's adorable. Um, and I love those like cute, sweet, happy stories. Like the kid who played for Miami, who was adopted by a family in Green Bay and stuff, and they played that during the halftime during the game. Like those feel
Yeah.
good stories. Like they add so much to football, and I love all that
Mhm.
like background information here. Speaking of background, the 49ers have yet to lose 3 games in a row this season. But I think this is when that streak starts. The Bills
It
knowing they can
absolutely
clinch
could.
their division with a win,
Yeah.
they're going to be playing balls out.
It's gonna. So, the Bills are the better team. They're playing better football right now. The 49ers are banged up. The Bills are at home. If it
And
snows,
they're
even more
undefeated at home
so.
this season. They're 5-0.
Yeah, the Bills should absolutely win this, but we see this every once in a while. We've seen it from the Bills before where it's like everything lines up and it's a game they're expected to win and everything and they just have an off night or for whatever reason. And without Dalton Kincaid, maybe without Keon Coleman, with Amari Cooper a little banged up, you never know.
Yeah.
Feed James Cook, right? And Josh Allen running in the snow is going to be a pain in the butt for anybody.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
and I mean, look at their defense against Christian McCaffrey. Like you turn that the other way, you would expect the 49ers to rely heavily on their run game, but no team besides the Bills allows a lower percentage of targets to running backs. Like
Mhm.
they don't let it happen. That defense is so good at that. I have issues with their secondary sometimes. They let off some really big plays, but they are great at wrapping up running backs. So I think McCaffrey's not going to be the weapon they're used to him being. And being short and injured so many other places, I think that's going to bite the 49ers.
Well, they're going to have to get, if they're going to be competitive in this game, they're going to have to get a lot out of Christian McCaffrey. They're going to have to get a lot out of George Kittle. Getting Brock Purdy back is huge. That is going to make it, I think it's going to be hard fought with Purdy back, with McCaffrey. I think it's going to be a good game. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Niners just to pick against you. You're kicking my
That's fair.
ass in the picks.
Whatever.
Uh, it'll be
17
fun
games at this
to
point.
be
Fuck it.
talking shit during Sunday Night Football and see who comes out with the win. Your Bills should be favored. Your Bills are the better team right now,
I feel
but
like they are favored. I don't know what the
yeah, they're favored at home for sure. Hopefully, we get snow. We
six.
both want to see some snow in this game.
Yeah, I
Um,
love me a good snowy run game. We got one
yeah,
great snow game so far this season.
that
Give me.
Blizzard game was amazing.
It
You
was
can't beat that
beautiful.
Blizzard game.
I
The
called the
Jameis
neighbor kids in
Winston.
who were hanging out at my house and I was like, yo, look at this. They're like, whoa, it's so cool. Where's the ball? And I was like, it's hiding in the snow. And then them doing snow angels at the end. Like, that's
Yeah.
my favorite December football
Hey,
activity.
Hey, Cleveland Browns organization, you watch that game in the blizzard and then say, we're going to go move into a dome. What the fuck is wrong with you? You should be forced to sell the team.
Ugh, yeah.
And then let's wrap it up with Monday night, the 3-8
Since we're talking shit
Browns
about
at
the
the
Browns, go on ahead.
7-5 Broncos. Uh, Another game where it could be cold, it could be interesting. And, uh, if it's not a blizzard in Cleveland, I'm not picking the Browns. Give me the Broncos at home. They're playing better football. Bo Nix is in the offensive rookie of the year conversation. Denver's defense is nasty. I got Denver.
Yeah, I like the story of Jerry Jeudy having a bit of a resurgence the past couple weeks after
That's
some
it.
inconsistency with Denver. He wanted the
Yeah,
trade, he went there. He's been playing really well.
yeah.
But Patrick Surtain is not going to let him have another good game. Uh,
Hmm.
so yeah, I'm with you on the Broncos here. Sean
Yeah.
Payton is going to have to protect Bo Nix. Um, the Browns are great at getting some sacks and some quarterback hits. So I think maybe stepping up the speed a little bit with the O line and some rushing might help him out here, but I trust Sean Payton in this scenario way more.
Yeah, not much to say about this game. We don't trust the Browns, and we do
And
trust the
you know,
Broncos.
something we've talked about quite a few times with both of our regular guests we've had on the show. We've talked about this with John Abraham and Hugh Jackson. Third down conversion rate. That's kind of
Mm-hmm.
something we've harped on this season. The Browns are NFL worst, 27% third down conversion rate. That is their
Jeez.
worst through 11 games since 1999. And we have known the Browns to suck over the last
Yeah.
couple decades. Like, it's not like they're a good team and this just happens to be an off year. They've been bad for a while and they
Yeah.
cannot convert a third down to save their lives. So I do not have faith in a team that can't convert third downs. And that is a horrible, like 1 in 4. I
Yeah.
no,
And
I won't
then
trust a team, you know.
now going into
Even the
Mile
Steelers.
High against that defense, not a recipe for success at
Jameis
all.
Winston's gonna get beat up by that Broncos defense. Yeah, no, I don't.
Multiple turnovers from famous Jameis.
Yep,
Yep.
Allen's gonna be scrapping in this one.
Yeah. All right, let's see how many games Alex is going to gain on Amanda this week. So we got 49ers over the Bills, the Ravens over the Eagles, so that's two. The Seahawks, you picked the Jets, so Seahawks over the
Oh,
Jets.
no, no, no. I did pick the Steelers Bengals though.
I'm just fucking with you. Um,
So I already have a 1 game lead. So we've got three other games this week.
which is what's the last one? Is
Steelers
that
Bengals. I've got the
Steelers
Steelers, you've got the
Bengals,
Bengals.
and I got the Bengals. So of course, with my luck, we're gonna tie like we always do. I can't. It's either you kick my ass or we tie. I
Yeah,
can't ever
those
win
are
a
your
week.
options. You haven't won a single week, have you?
No, I haven't. I hate it.
Sorry, guys.
But it's all right. I'll get my revenge in the playoffs. Don't worry, guys. And I'll probably
You
end
won't
up
because he
winning.
won't pick the Lions or the Chiefs. So we already know how this is
I don't
going.
pick bad teams, Amanda.
The
We've
Lions are not a bad team. They're
they
not.
almost lost to the Bears. They've got to be a horrible team.
Okay, well, the Chiefs are fucking garbage. They almost lost to the Panthers.
Yeah,
So
and the Raiders.
yeah,
Both
all
those
right.
teams suck. All
Well, y'all
right.
enjoy the rest of your Thanksgiving weekend. Thanks for tuning in with
Yep.
us and hanging out with us during your turkey comas. We appreciate it.
Yeah, you guys are the shit. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.